Project-based learning. I will be doing chapter 3. My name is Erica Enriquez.
My name is Sherilyn Helguera, and I'll be doing chapter 4.
My name is Stella Hanson. I'll be doing chapter 5.
Chapter 3 is the possibilities. How do you prep for project-based learning? What do you need, and what is important for the chapter or for the lesson? A good strategy is to thumb through your table of contents of the textbook and use it as a guide for planning your projects. The idea of big ideas is that the project needs to be relevant and it needs to be authentic. By that I mean relevance is who cares about it, who does it touch, how does it interact with everyday life. So the students need to feel like they have a connection with it. And authentic is do they take place in the real world today? So the students need to be able to see the bigger picture of this small project, and they need to feel like they're a part of the actual project. Two resources that I noted on this was Wikispaces, space.com, and then Google Sites. These two are really good resources because it allows students to collaborate and work together to do their project-based learning, and that's good organizational skill. The digital age literacies, and this is performance and behaviors that reflect the emerging learners' opportunities afforded by technologies as well as the world students will work in the future. Literacy builds independence and productive citizens. A true project-based learning lesson creates natural opportunities for digital knowledge. Focus on the following questions. How will this project help our students learn about the world around them? What skills would they learn through the process of this project? Learning dispositions is another great thing that happens with project-based learning. These are where the students are learning traits that we can't necessarily teach. For example, confidence, curiosity, resourcefulness, cooperation, motivation, and persistence and courage. Through project-based learning, they're able to do this, and these are simple things that we just can't teach them in the classroom. Your mindset. Another idea of project-based learning is to change the word project into passion. Passion-based learning. These are activities, lessons, projects that these students are doing that's going to create passion for a future, to find ways to improve and to do something differently to better our world. The idea of creating this is that the students will want to do more and elaborate and find better resources. Some resources that I notated was educationskype.com, and that's a pretty neat one because the students are able to work together, they can video chat, they can organize themselves, and it just gives them an additional resource. The Zoho one is captured data like polls and data from around the world, and it's updated and it's current. Blogster is you create online multimedia posters with text, photos, videos, and graphics. And then Wolfmouth, it constructs information and graphics, and that's another really good one. These are just a few of the resources that you will find in chapter 3.
In chapter 4, I focused on strategies for discovery. So one of the things is reviewing projects. So when you're starting to do a project, you want to look over existing plans to create with new colleagues. A lot of times we don't know our colleagues, so in order to get to know them and see what their likes and dislikes are, is to find a project that's already been used. And so when you do that, you present it, and it can better give you an idea of who you're going to be collaborating with. I gave some sites that you can use that was in the book, iron.org, pblu.org, and globalschoolnet.org. Also, overcoming pitfalls. Projects should be right-sized for what it accomplishes. It is important to focus on the students' learning outcomes. Technology is essential to focus on reaching significant learning outcomes, and definitely assessment needs to happen early and often during the project. Also, students' work should be assessed, and it should mirror the real world. Next, to have design terrific projects. Utilizing resources to help in designing. One of the sites is bie.org and bobperlman.org. Also, there are books out there. One of the ones that was listed in the project-based learning book was Understanding by Design Guide to Creating High-Quality Units. In doing this, you're able to get ideas to help to design your project. You want to share important features when designing your project. That way you can collaborate with your colleagues. Also, challenging students can also motivate your project design. You want to look for ideas that would capture the student's interest, especially the challenging learner. So you want to see what their interests are and utilize that in your project. Tactile learners become engaged using technology, and also despite learning styles, students' learning is impactful when engaged in the assignment, so it becomes more meaningful to them. Also, to design your project, you want to revisit the conceptual framework, make a final list of learning outcomes, decide on specific skills you want to address, and identify learning dispositions you want to foster. Establish evidence of understanding. What should students know or be able to do? And then you want to use it like a vehicle. You want to interact with the topics you have already identified. You also want to plan it sort of like a meal, an entree, it's stated. Get students' attention. You want to build excitement for the project by letting them know what it's about and ignite their inquiry on day one. You want to make sure their interest is engaged from immediately from the get-go. Also write a project sketch. This would help. It's a quick understanding of what your project will consist of, and you want to do it within a paragraph form. And then by doing this, you can share with your colleagues. This will give a better insight and give suggestions to making your project the best learning outcome for your students. Also, last, collect and track assets online. Create an online survey. One of the forms they gave was google.com. Link is provided. Using that, then you will get a spreadsheet for the outcome, using a spreadsheet to identify people and their specific skill traits, and that will definitely help.
In Chapter 5, I reviewed making assessment meaningful because during projects, students go through a progression of activities such as questioning, investigating, making sense of what they discover, and asking more questions and doing more research until they emerge with a new understanding of the project they are working on. The authentic assessments in PBL would be first the assessment for learning, which would be a formative assessment that gives the teachers the opportunity to support the students along the way, such as if they need to have a misunderstanding of the directions or they need to be guided with following guidelines through the project. And then the other one was assessments of learning, which was a summative assessment, and the assessment students at the end of the project will be able to figure out what they can do better on the project next time with the summative assessment. Then there is project rubrics, and there's 3 different project rubrics that I reviewed, and that was the school-wide and project-specific rubrics, which is something that is guidelines by the school, the whole school-wide that they follow through the school. And then the other one was the customizing school rubrics that the teachers customize per the project. So every goal is set per the project. And then the final one was building a project rubric from scratch. So if there's no guidelines through the school, the teacher will build their own project rubric from scratch using knowledge, skills, and process. Finally, I reviewed assessments, options, and tools. And one of the assessments that can be used is brainstorming. And the tools for the brainstorming could be such as whiteboard, digital whiteboards, and Google Docs. And Google Docs is something that we've used in this project and the work that we're doing right now. And it really works because everything can be corrected, and it's something that students can learn how to work as a team. So Google Docs is one of the tools that students can use in project building and learning. Also coffee talks, which is small groups and workshops, and then checklists, Google Forms, and Evernote. And then the other one was concept maps using a chart, which is now part of Google Drive or Prezi. And also exit slips at the end of the project, the students will get an exit step of how their progress was during the project. And then finally, the online grade books is a tool that parents could also view online, and there's some online sites that I added here from the book, www.ngrade.com, and then www.igradeplus.com, and then www.projectfunry.org.
Lastly, we have our reference page. Our reference page just tells us that, we used the book. We went through chapter 3 to 5. So any of the information that you've seen in our lesson, you can also find it in the text. Thank you very much for listening to our lesson. My name is Erica Enriquez.
I'm Sherilyn Helguera.
And I'm Stella Hansen.
Thank you very much.